Hey there, Internet.
How are you today, Internet? How are your feelings? Are you feeling overwhelmed? I
Have
know
you
a lot of
noticed?
people are.
Yeah, like people are definitely at the end of their shit, I think, pandemic wise. It seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
people have just been getting progressively angrier, which is a boon for this podcast, which, by the
Yeah.
way, is Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online and explain why they're dumb for caring. I'm your co host, Derek Bolin.
I'm your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter. Yeah, everybody's been like even Andrea, she's like, have you noticed everybody's a little stressed more? And I think it's because they're opening, like in BC at least, they're going into phase 2 of the opening up. So everybody's like going to go back to work, but they're still like have to reevaluate how all their anxiety to deal with COVID in general because they actually have to go to public to go to their job now.
Even
And
then, like I think that because they announced, what was it, last week? So we live in BC, which is like in places with a population of 5 million people or less, more,
in
whatever.
BC or in Vancouver?
Well, it was just in BC in general, in terms of like regions with populations of 5 million people, globally, BC was the least, like had the lowest number of cases per capita and had the lowest deaths per capita. So congratulations, British Columbians, on being more subservient than anyone else in the world. We did it.
Yeah, I think it's also because we got our first case so early. Like all of Canada, BC had one, and then Toronto had one, or we both had one at about the same time. So BC was like, holy fuck, this is real. It's already here. Whereas like Alberta and Manitoba and a lot of other places in the world didn't get their first case till like a couple weeks later. So they're like, it's still not our problem. It's still China's problem.
Yeah.
Like I know that was pretty much what everybody thought. They're like, because they're like, we're all like, oh yeah, SARS. We all freaked out for that. And then it kind of, unless you were lived in Toronto, it kind of never really affected anywhere besides China. And then this one, it came to like Richmond, and we were all like, oh shit, it's here now.
Well, as soon as you heard there was a virus in China, you were like, well, we are definitely getting it. Because like
Yeah.
there are areas in Vancouver that are basically like Richmond specifically. And I'm not saying this, racist, not to be racist.
Oh my
but,
God. We gotta take our foot off the racist gas pedal, because we gotta be able to explain groups of people and describe them, even if we're not disparaging, without being racist. Because we got to be able to say, yeah, there's a large population of Chinese expatriates that live in the Vancouver area.
Yes,
So
specifically Richmond, where it's like Richmond is like, I go to Richmond. I've been to China before. Going to Richmond.
I go to Richmond.
So bougie. Going to Richmond is basically like visiting China. So
yeah. Yes, there's like spots of it where you go to Richmond and you don't know where you are because the signs aren't in English. Like I guess some of them have like real small print at the bottom, but a lot of the signs are in Chinese. And
yes,
you could tell someone's actually a racist by if they go to Richmond and they see these signs are in Chinese and they get
mad about
angry.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get angry about that, you're probably actually a racist.
Yeah.
Whereas
what is this moon speak? Why can't I read this language?
It just looks like syllables that I don't know.
If you come to Canada, you better assume Canadian culture.
Yeah,
which...
it's like if you come to Canada after 1980, you better get with it, because that's when all the white people who didn't speak English got here. And then they like made this like, well, I'm not going to say forced, because I love all the different worldly foods that just came to be Canadian. Like if you go to Saskatchewan, you get pierogies, and then there's a whole bunch of Polish sausage, and
which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, I did not. Oh, before we kick off this episode, I just want to say rest in peace to my grandfather, Gerald Wurgis, who passed away on Saturday, the day before his 87th birthday. So,
sorry to hear that, man.
Pour one out for Grandpa Jerry.
Yeah.
If you got one. Okay,
how old was he? You said 87?
86. It would have been he died the day before his 87th birthday.
I mean, I don't want to sound glib, but I feel like if I made it to 86, I'd be like, that's
dude,
good enough.
if I make it to 70, I will be fucking stoked for myself.
70.
I'll be like, well, had a good run.
You'll be like dying at 70. You'll be like, I was gonna retire in 10 years. I almost made it.
That was my dream. Retire at 80.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went to Saskatchewan and I did not get you pierogies or sausages because every grocery store was shut down.
Only because there's a pandemic, I'll let it slide this time.
Yeah.
Because
sorry, next time I'll hook you up.
I want you to know how important to my emotional well-being pierogies and sausages are, which is very high. And also, you are visiting your sick grandpa, so I can't even be mad.
Yeah, you can. Also, we've gone on we're 5 minutes into this podcast. That's fine. I've come to expect it. And we've already gone on 6 different tangents. So what we were originally talking about was how everyone's lost their fucking minds. And how they're starting to ease up on the restrictions. But it was they announced, they were like, okay, BC, we've done a relatively good job of flattening the curve. We're going to start easing up on the restrictions next weekend. Don't go coming in your pants already. And then you fucking you went out on Friday or Saturday. And it was to be fair, it was probably the nicest weekend that we've had in Vancouver so far this year.
Oh yeah. And it was 28 degrees.
Yeah. But you went outside Friday or Saturday, and anywhere you went, there were groups of 15 to 20 people just fucking hanging out. And the shittiest thing about that is that all these people legitimately believe that we're going to ease up now and life's just going to go back to normal.
Yeah.
And that's not how any of this is going to fucking work. We're going to still have to be on semi-lockdown, and everyone's going to have to social distance. And a lot of people are still going to have to work from home, and a ton of people are not going to have jobs at all because the economy isn't just going to magically rebound.
And they said, we're not going to be able to stop social distancing until they get a vaccine. And like you said, it's okay, everybody, be cool about this, but we're going to let you go to parking lots for the national parks and the provincial parks. And then everybody, like you said, just wasn't cool. And now they're yeah, well, guess what? We're not opening the parks for the beaches. You don't
get your parking lots anymore.
Yeah. You have to park on the road by each other, which, yeah.
And then walk an extra, however, which is fine because you all need more exercise because nobody walks anymore.
Yeah, because you're all in your houses putting on your COVID-19. I might be over the 19.
Yeah, I think I'm pushing it as well. My step counter, which routinely broke 10,000 steps a day pre-COVID days, has been hovering around 800 to 1,000 maybe for the past 2 months. So
that's no bueno. I'm still going to work because I'm an essential employee or whatever. So
I'm essential. I love this.
But it's that's almost even worse because I'm I don't have to do anything because it's I'm still going to work and I walk at work. So I'm just because I used to do that and then go to the gym or whatever. So it's I just I'm probably so much weaker. You and me used to go to the gym. So I'm probably going to have to start over at the little girl weights.
Dale and I went to the gym. I picked up a set of those resistance bands on Amazon because I was just well, if there are no gyms left in the world, I'm going to get these fucking things.
Are you going to make TikTok videos of you smashing yourself in the face with them because you set them up wrong?
Almost definitely. Or just pull on them and then smash myself in the dick.
Yeah.
Which I can definitely foresee happening.
Yeah, I was watching one and this guy had it hooked up to the top of the door and he was pulling it down and he just the whole door just came and hit him missed his face, but hit him in the shoulder. And it's if that happens, you kind of got to be proud because you're I fucking pulled the door off the hinges.
Yeah. I mean, if you're strong enough to pull a door off the hinges, you don't need resistance bands. Fucking save some for the rest of us.
That's a pretty good point. Yeah, you got to, yeah. I don't I was gonna say leave some women for the rest of us, but we both got girlfriends, so you can have all the extra women that are not those two. They're yours.
Yeah, door puller guy,
Door puller guy.
or whoever you are. All right. Do we want to get into Dale?
Oh,
Do we want to get into Dale?
yeah. Let's
Yes, we do.
let's get into what Dale got into a Twitter flame war with everybody
A couple,
on.
actually.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear about Bryan Adams, which you probably have, because at first I was like, what he said wasn't racist. It was petulant or whatever.
Let's explain. I was trying to explain this to Kate. She actually didn't know who Bryan Adams was. So for our non-Canadian listeners,
people
Bryan
who
Adams
didn't see Derek do acoustic covers of Summer of '69 a lot.
Which I only did because 69's in the title.
I have seen you cover Summer of '69 more than I've seen any other song live, which probably isn't that impressive, but it's enough.
And
like
now
that.
I got to cancel it because Bryan Adams is a fucking racist.
It's like when
and
everybody's
a vegan.
like, yeah, oh, that's even worse. Also, didn't he renounce his Canadian passport to go British so he could try be knighted or something like in the 90s?
Bryan Adams?
Yeah, there was like a huge thing where he renounced his Canadian citizenship to go to be British solely so he could try be knighted or something. I think it was right after he did that song for Robin Hood. Yeah, he saw Kevin Costner's English accent, and then he got a little enamored with England, so he's like, I'm just gonna go live over there, and then now he's Canadian again. So I guess maybe I should have paid more attention to him in the last 30 years.
Now we're gonna cancel him again.
So,
but Bryan Adams is a famous musician. He did Everything I Do It For You from the Robin Hood soundtrack. He did Summer '69.
My favorite song is Run to You, which
is a banger.
Actually terrible because he's singing to his like second girlfriend about how he wants to wait for his first girlfriend to go to sleep so he can go to his second girlfriend.
Respect. He's waiting for her to go to sleep at least. That shows if you would wait for your first girlfriend to go to sleep instead of just being like, fuck you, I'm out, gonna go see my second girlfriend, got my side piece. I think that shows a level of respect that is essential in today's relationship.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking for. Okay, so I will read you the tweet that Bryan Adams sent out. Okay, so I opened
up. It was an Instagram post.
Oh, was it?
It was on the gram.
So I opened up this saying Bryan Adams is not racist. You're allowed to call people bat eaters because they are objectively people who eat bats. And I got in a lot of fights with that. And then I went back and read the whole post. And he called them greedy bastards as well. And I was like, oh, that's racist. So Bryan Adams is racist. But I'm still I don't want to make this my hill to die on because it's so dumb. But I feel like we have to be able to criticize not only Chinese people, but everybody for eating bats. Because
rephrase that.
Okay. Everybody around the world, I'm sorry that you have to eat bats because you're too poor to afford delicious cows, pigs.
I don't think that's why they eat bats.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons is they eat it is because it's so hard to feed 1 billion people in a country that they have to just go into the
That's it.
wilderness.
It's not. I don't think it's poverty. I think it's like at that point when you have 3 billion people in a country.
Yeah.
Like for them to have farms of cows and pigs to feed every person in China a strict diet of like pork and beef would be fucking like there's not enough land in the world and the impact of the environment would be catastrophic. Like you could not have that shit. So what they do is they end up eating lots of stuff. Everything.
I just want to jump in again and finish my statement that I just want everybody to stop eating bats because they are disease-infested rats with wings. And if one bites you, you have to go get rabies shots because they think that all of them have rabies and it's very bad for you. So,
let's walk this back.
Okay.
Just a single step. We're not going to say that all Chinese people are bad eaters because that would be racist.
No. And
What
not
we're
even
gonna
all bad
say-
eaters are Chinese.
And this is where I thought Bryan Adams' thing wasn't racist, because he was saying, I thought he was just like addressing people who eat bats, because he had some like bullshit go vegan message in there too, which like fuck off, Brian. Like I'm not gonna go vegan, and I would 100% eat a bat if one was offered to me.
Definitely would not eat a bat here.
Also, to correct a misconception, this virus did not originate from a person eating a bat. They think it was a pangolin. Am I saying
Pangolin?
that right?
I think it's a pangolin.
They look like
it sounds
my
weird.
favorite dinosaur.
Yeah, what a pangolin is, if anybody out there doesn't know about this majestic creature, it is the only mammal on Earth that has scales. It looks like a scaled anteater. And I think they're like yay big. I guess got to move my hands back and forth so you can see it.
They're about webcam size.
Yeah, they're very endangered, so I have a problem with them being in wet markets anyway. Secondly, they're cute as F, so that also gives me a problem for them being there. So yeah, what Derek was saying was people didn't eat a bat. What happened was a bat that was sick got a pangolin sick, and then the virus in the pangolin mutated and passed to humans, because it's like the same thing with the avian flu. Like it didn't go from chickens to humans. It went like chicken to a pig, I think, to a human. So like bats have had,
first of all, it was the pangolin that was killed in the wet market, and that's what spread the virus to people.
There are bats in the wet market though.
Second of all, I respect eating endangered species, I think. Like, I just do, because it's like, you see these things that become popular just because of, like, scarcity. Like, people who post food on fucking Instagram because they got to, like, a sandwich shop and got one of 100 sandwiches that they made for the day. What is more exclusive than an actual endangered species?
Yeah.
Like, I see why shark fin soup is such a delicacy, because it's hard to come by, right?
I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of sharks out there. It's are sharks endangered right now? I thought they were like, I think that the problem with shark fin soup is it's so cruel to the actual sharks, because what the fishers will do is they'll catch a shark, slice off the fins, and then just drop the shark still alive in the water so it sinks and dies a slow, horrible death. So don't eat shark fin soup. What if they just
like straight up killed the shark? Would that be better?
Then I'm okay with that. You can eat whatever you want as long as you kill it nicely and it's not a bat or full of diseases, because bats are gross. Like
there's a good rule.
If a bat poops on you, you can die. Like the guano of bats is so poisonous that if you go into a cave that has a lot of bats and then they fly out and they poop on you, you could get some horrible disease and die. It's not even.
The other night, I went for a walk at dusk, and I was walking around a lake in the neighborhood here, and all of a sudden I hear like all this shit flying by my head, and there's tons of bats flying around me, and all I could think about was the viruses. Like I get a second mutation to corona, and suddenly it starts spreading. We get another outbreak in Vancouver.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So Bryan Adams said this because Bryan Adams said this, and he threw a little shit fit on Instagram, which
let me read the quote of what he said.
Yeah, read it.
So that people know what we're talking about. Okay. So this is like, I think this is an excerpt, not the whole quote, but this is basically what we're dealing with. So he says, "Tonight was supposed to be the beginning of a tenancy of gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, but thanks to some F-U ... Did he actually swear in the post, or is it because like I got this off a news site? So anyway, so he said, I'll start over. How's that?
Did he say fucked up?
Okay, tonight was supposed to be the beginning of tenancy at the gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, but thanks to some fucked up bat eating, wet market, animal selling, virus making greedy bastards, the whole world is now on hold."
Okay, can you do it again in a Bryan Adams voice?
"Tonight was supposed to be the beginning of a tenancy of gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, But thanks to some fucking bat-eating, wet market animal selling, virus-making, greedy bastards, the whole world is now on hold. Does that sound like Bryan Adams?
That was actually fucking perfect, man. Nice.
I mean, it's so funny because he starts that with tonight, which is like the easily
classic Bryan Adams.
Yeah, easiest Bryan Adams word. Tonight.
Tonight. So Bryan Adams went on this rant because he was mad that he couldn't do his residency at the fucking whatever hall.
Yeah, so he just comes across as a petulant child.
Just like, hey man, we're all frustrated. Like, yeah. I got shit I'm not able to do right now. I'm sure, Dale, you had 1 or 2 plans that got canceled as a result of being stuck in your house for 3 months.
Actually, oh yeah, I was supposed to go to the dentist. That was the only plan I had that got canceled. Oh wait, I was supposed to go to Easter in Alberta, which, no offense,
fucking canceled.
No offense to my family. I'm okay not having to drive.
If you have to say that, there might be offense to your family.
I don't want to sound like I hate my family, but
yeah, like Bryan, we all had to give shit up. Yeah. So let's just try and make the best of it without resorting to slurs like bat eaters or greedy, which I didn't really get. Why did he say greedy bastards? Like,
I think
what's greedy about getting
what
a virus.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to say was they're selling bats because they're greedy and they just want to make money off everything.
That's the part that much money off a bat.
Yeah, because I was listening to a podcast and they looked it up and like bats are like $1 at the Wuhan wet market.
In China, it's fucking amazing. Have you ever had those like the steamed buns with like the barbecue pork in the middle? So,
oh yeah.
Fucking in China, you can literally get those for like 5 cents Canadian. Like like food there is so fucking cheap.
Why is anybody eating a bat when you can get a steamed pork bun for 5 cents?
For that much. Yeah, and it's not like there's like a scarcity of food there. Like I think people eat bats just because they want to eat bats. It's just like a cultural normal thing.
What if this whole time bats are so fucking delicious, it's worth shutting down the world's economy because they're just that good?
Well, I mean, what is a bat if not just a furry bird? Like,
yeah, I guess because they're mammals, so I guess the closest thing it would taste like would be maybe rabbit or squirrel. Like a flying squirrel and a bat look like they could be brothers.
Yeah, that's
minus
true.
The fur.
Like probably squirrel, but smaller because bats are like what? Like,
oh, dude, no. Like have you seen how big night foxes are? Which is the popular bat because they're so big, it's worth it for the meat. Okay, they're this big.
Fuck off.
That's how tall the bat's body is. The wings are like this big.
That's not true.
No, like look up night fox bats, and they look like my nightmares. Actually, they're kind of cute because they don't look like because you know how there's like different types of bats. There's like the ones with the smashed up face that's like all short and they look like demons, and then there's the ones who kind of look like skinny dogs and they have like a long snout.
Yeah.
This is one of those. So the ones with the long snout are the ones that eat fruit, and the ones with the smashed up face are the ones that eat bugs. I'm a bat scientist now, and I totally just made that up. So nobody Google that and just let me have it.
Checks out.
Yeah. So I think like the night fox bats are probably good because they eat all fruit. So the meat would taste good. Because I think one easy rule of thumb to go on is if an animal eats meat, it tastes gross. But if it eats like vegetables, it tastes good. Like I guess like how cows are so good because they only eat vegetables. Herbivores, if you will.
Well, what's up meat eating? Don't pigs eat meat?
Yeah, pigs are omnivores. They're like bears. They'll just eat anything.
Yeah.
And they are
delicious.
Good. And like if you want to be like get super into like artisanal farming, whatever you feed your pig will affect the taste of it. So if you feed it like more sugary stuff like corn and berries and stuff, it'll have a sweeter taste. And I think I know that pigs and bears are related, and if a bear eats blueberries a lot, its meat will actually be tinted blue, but I don't know if that'll work in pigs.
So you're saying fruit-eating bats would taste delicious and we should all eat them?
No, what I'm saying is
what I'm
fruit-eating
picking up here.
bats, although the things of nightmares would taste better than the bug-eating bats.
Could you imagine you're just out for a stroll at sunset and one of these big motherfuckers
Oh my God.
flies into your hair, smacks you in the face?
Oh, I would scream so long and so loud, my voice would sound like Bryan Adams permanently because I would just blast my vocal cords.
Can you throw out another Tonight for us?
Tonight? Oh wait, that was totally. I lost it. I had Bryan Adams for a bit, but now it's gone.
Okay. On that note, I wanted to do this quickly because we're talking about Bryan Adams. Top 5 Canadian music or recording acts. Go.
Oh, this is so hard. Fuck, shit, piss. Like currently or all time?
All time.
Ooh, I gotta put Metric up there.
Okay. Not the one I would have let off with, but okay.
No, it's hard because these are just the ones I'm thinking of. Okay, how about this? I'll start with Canadian indie because there's Metric, Tegan and Sarah. Handsome Furs are really good. Chicks Dig It. I don't know if they count as indie. They're more punk. And then Doughboys. Those are really good. Those are 5 bands I'd stand by. Like, yeah. Okay,
right.
You go.
The Guess Who?
Yeah, Burton Cummings.
You got it.
I gotta say, you could hear Burton Cummings synthesizer / organ influence on pretty much everything Canadian band that has a synthesizer in it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wish I could hear Burton Cummings.
Hey, lady.
Okay. The Guess Who?
Some dudes. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's true. Let's not limit ourselves. Fuck, you're gonna hate mine. Sloan, probably. And I don't think that's necessarily because of talent, but more longevity.
I did like a couple of their songs. I'll go as far as to say there are Sloan songs that when they come on, I'm okay. Like that. Is Money City Maniacs the name of a song or an album?
That's a banger.
I like that song. Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's a banger.
Death from Above, 1979.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good.
You'll sing Love Inc.
Yeah, and Sam said Rush, which I don't abide by.
No, I get why people like them, I guess. Just definitely not my jam. Okay, where was I?
You had just said Death from Above.
Death from Above. What were my first two?
You said Burton Cummings.
Death from Above. Or no, The Guess Who, Death from Above.
Sloan.
The Weaker Thans.
Ooh.
Good as fuck. And
can I tell you why I don't like the Weaker Thans?
Because they're sensitive.
So I went to see the Weaker Thans live in concert. This was kind of before they popped. Like I saw them before they were big, if you know what I mean. So I bought a sticker, and our friend Matt McLaren was a huge Weaker Thans fan. And I was like, oh, I'll get this. I'm such a good friend. I'll get this sticker signed for Matt. I was like, hey, singer of Weaker Thans. I can't remember his name. I knew it then.
John Sampson.
Yeah. Hey, John Sampson, could you please sign this sticker for my friend Matt? He loves you, which I guess in turn makes it sound like, hey, I don't care about you guys.
You do not love you, yes.
But I have a friend who does, so can you write on this for him? And I was like, can you say, Matt kicks ass, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I can't write the word ass. And I was like, why do I listen to this band? And then from then on, I was like, I can't respect a guy who won't write ass as a joke on a sticker for a friend, because it's like you just take yourself too seriously. And you've heard my sailor mouth.
I mean, you should just asked him to write as and then added the extra S to yourself. Tennille just got my last one. It's I Mother Earth.
Oh, I Mother Earth is good. Oh, there's so many bands that I'm not thinking of that as soon as we're done, I'll think of them and it'll just drive me nuts.
There was that whole like the Canadian indie movement, like the 90s, like Murder Records and Sonic Onion. Like who was there?
And Treble Charger Records.
Treble Charger was good.
Oh, Sponge.
I'm gonna float that out there. Sponge is American.
Yeah, they started as Sponge, and I can't remember what they changed their name to. They had that song like "Beautiful Dress." It was on your.
Oh, the Smalls and Eric's trip. The audience
yeah.
in the comments is killing it right now.
Yeah, they're on point.
Eric's trip was super fucking good. Thrush Hermit was good.
I can't even like think of what Thrush Hermit sounded like.
You had that compilation CD.
Yeah.
And it was like a bunch of like Canadian indie acts.
Oh yeah, it had the girl with the backpack on the cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Bug off of that album was really good too. Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like, I guess if they're on there, I probably like them. I just can't. Like, you know how when you like someone says the name of a band, you're like, oh yeah, that's what they sound like, and it like plays inside your head, and it's like magic. I can't do that with Thrush Hermit.
Protest the Hero.
Oh yeah,
that's a good recent one. Alexis on Fire, also really good. I dig that.
Oh, Wolf Parade's really good.
Are they Canadian?
Yeah, the guy.
The
guy from Wolf Parade was in like Frog Eyes and like 6 other bands.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, I know a band you like, Limb Lifter.
Yeah, Limb Lifter is dope.
I thought of them because of the Mounties, which is like one of the guys from Hot Hot Heat and the singer from Limb Lifter, I think.
Hot Hot Heat was also good.
Yeah, they were.
Age of Electric, the Killjoys. Who was I just thinking of? Arcade Fire, I think, is artistically they're good.
They have a lot of bangers. I'm not a huge fan of Arcade Fire because they got overplayed when Neon Bible was out, but I do like those songs. Are Stars Canadian?
I think so.
Yeah, the Stars are pretty good.
Sam, Arctic Monkeys are not.
Yeah, they're from
they're
England.
Like fully
They've got to
British.
be England. Yeah,
fully British.
I mean, it would be hilarious
tonight.
If they would.
All right. Hey, nice little aside there.
Yeah, that was a fun game to involve all the fans.
all the listeners in. They had some.
Yeah.
Hey, what we're talking.
Should we talk more about Bryan Adams, or should we just tiptoe away from that?
Hey, Bryan Adams, get the fuck over yourself. Everyone had to cancel shit. Don't go calling people bad eaters.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, everybody's going to have a lot of anger and anxiety from this whole COVID thing. So if one thing I've learned from dealing with anger issues in my youth is you have to find a way to express it healthily. Going on your Instagram and
Murdering
possibly ending your career is not a way to do it. Murdering cats, also not a way to do it. I mean, you could do like I did in grade 10 and listen to some Korn and sulk in your bedroom, but I don't think that's really going to help. But
we did both of those things a lot. Write some poetry.
Ooh, angry poetry. That's good. But
there should be.
Don't put it online.
Hey, if you're listening to this podcast right now, I encourage you to write a poem about the pandemic. Send it in to us at, what the fuck is our email address? theouragefactory@gmail.com.
Then
Sounds
one
right.
of us would actually have to check that.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Either
Write
do
a
that.
pandemic poem for us and email it to us or message it to us on Facebook, and I promise you we will read it on the next episode.
We'll read the best 2 on air. So Derek will pick his favorite, and I'll pick my favorite.
Yeah, I'll pick my own, and Dale will pick his own, and we'll read those. But thanks for trying.
And then we'll have a battle of the poems.
All right, can we talk conspiracy theories for a bit?
Oh, my God. Dude, I just saw right before we started this podcast, someone tweeted, they're like, is it just me, or is there a lot more tinfoil hat people out there? And there is. It seems like the one weird thing about the coronavirus is there's a conspiracy specifically for the left politically, and there's another conspiracy specifically for the right politically. Like the right political conspiracy was this was made in a factory by China to somehow infect their own people and then fuck over the world's economy so that they could come out on top. And then the left's conspiracy is more that it manifested from nothingness and it was nobody's fault, and the states are the ones to blame because they handled it so badly at first that they're the ones who should be blamed. I don't know. Like,
true.
Like a lot of them, yeah, both of them have elements of truth. Like, I don't think it was made in a lab, like we already discussed. I think I think it's a consensus. It's probably not, but I think it's a consensus that it came from a pangolin who was French kissing a bat, but the
Yeah.
pangolin ended up in
They
the
were
wet
getting
market.
freaky. There's a video of a pangolin and a bat fucking on the internet, and it's called "The Origin of Coronavirus." And if you go watch
really?
it, you will
I
get
think
impossibly horny.
Do some
And-
research.
But
That's
there's
a
like,
documentary I'd watch.
so when this happened, I was like, I legitimately thought at the beginning of this pandemic, I was like, well, this is going to expose all those anti-vaxxers for being fucking idiots, because when they release a vaccine for this thing, they're going to have to get it. And somehow having a virus that is just like ravaging the world's population and killing a lot of people has somehow turned more people against vaccines than previously were. And it's just like,
also there's like patriotic vaxxers now, where it's not like they're not against anti-vaccine, but there's people who are like, I'm only going to take the vaccine that was made in America. I ain't going to have that French vaccine because that's not going to help our economy. Because that's how all American people speak. And I know we just had a big thing about being racist and like grouping people together, but nobody cares about America, so I can do that accent because
you're accurate.
Whatever.
I'm dating an American. That's exactly what she sounds like all the time. That's the voice she has. I legitimately thought Kate was co-hosting this podcast with me for the moment.
Hi, Derek. What are you doing later? You should FaceTime me. Is that what it's like?
You sound like fucking
like
Ruth from Ozark.
I like what you do to me, Derek.
Damn, Kate, not here. There's people listening. Yeah, so there was this fucking video that blew up.
Are you talking about
week.
Plandemic?
Plandemic, son.
Dude.
Which is
Andrea made me watch that, and it had some points, and then it just kind of went whoop. It was so badly filmed too. It was like this guy, he's like, so I've got a big beef to prove something or other, and you're like, all right, where's this going? And it's just like, yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna make this fucking documentary without an agenda and just let the facts. Like, it's like, no, you clearly have an agenda making this thing.
Yeah, it's like, what did Dr. Fauci do to you personally, guy who made this movie that's in sole intention is to try take down Dr. Fauci and say that he's letting the pandemic grow and grow so that he can make more money off of a vaccine in the future?
Well, there are so many people that like believe that, and this is something that like otherwise rational, well, I'm gonna loosely use the word rational, but otherwise rational people believe, and they keep posting shit saying that like American hospitals are like faking the number of coronavirus reports they have and like listing causes of death as coronavirus when it's not coronavirus.
Because like Elon Musk was saying this too. It's like he's saying that because for the U.S. government was setting out like segmented funds so that if you had someone die or get on a ventilator, you get a lump sum to help treat that person. So people were saying that all these people got coronavirus when they didn't, so that the hospital could get extra money.
Yeah, but it's not. So here's the thing. The money that the U.S. got, and Elon Musk fucking knows this because I'm assuming he knows it, that he's smart enough to wrap his fucking dumb fat head around it. And he's spreading this shit because he wants to open his factory and get back to work because he's not making money right now. But the U.S. government sends that money because that is the actual cost that a hospital has to pay to keep a person alive by putting them on a ventilator. Like, it's not like hospitals are turning profits on the number of COVID-19 patients they're processing. That is the cost of applying care to them, and the money they're getting from the government is a reimbursement of that money. And it's to offset. Otherwise, hospitals would be getting hit incredibly hard right now because you have this fucking ridiculous for-profit healthcare system in the States.
Yeah. And they had to stop all the elective surgeries, so all the hospitals aren't making money off that.
Yeah. So in order to offset those costs that they are spending, keeping people alive, they are, yeah, they're saying that people have COVID-19, and I don't think they're inflating the numbers to like it's just fucking stupid to me that people like legitimately believe that a hospital, which is like a crazy ethics violation, and like if any of these hospitals were discovered to be doing that, they'd be shut the fuck down. Like, it's not.
Yeah, this is like jail for the rest of your life stuff.
Yeah. Like, this is not just like, oh, we can fudge a couple. Like, the people who are claiming this have absolutely no fucking idea how the world functions at all.
Yeah, and these people are the ones who are just like, I want to go back to work, and I don't think I'm going to be one of the people who's going to die, so fuck it. Everyone who's going to die is going to be someone else. But it's funny because these people keep having these protests, and it's like the church groups keep leading congregations and stuff, but the protest leaders and the church leaders keep getting sick. It's like, how many times do people have to die so that we could say I told you so that they actually listen? Like, I get it's hard times for everybody, but you can't just say maybe I won't die and just start everything back up.
There were something like 19 pastors that died of coronavirus so far in like a couple weeks span. But it's like, so the Venn diagram of people saying, hey, it's a hoax. Look at how easily China was able to move past this and restart the economy. And people bitching about American individualism and how everyone has to get back to work. It's a fucking circle. Like, the reason China moved past this so quickly is because they locked the fuck down. Everyone obeyed orders. Everyone stayed home. They left businesses shut for 2 months.
Yeah, and if they didn't obey and stay home, they fucking came and they welded the door shut so you couldn't leave your apartment. Like, if you had coronavirus, they're like, I don't trust that you're going to stay home. So they came and welded the door shut, and they're like, if there's a fire, you're dead because I don't trust that you won't leave your house. Like, that's how China stopped it. China didn't stop coronavirus because they mad coronavirus isn't real and the States are just propping this up. Also, the weird thing about this is in the States, everybody's like, oh, they're inflating the numbers. They're not actually that big. But in like Russia and China, they're all like, they're like artificially decreasing all the numbers and saying that people who died of actual coronavirus died of something else. So it's funny because it's like right now you have this conspiracy theory going on both ways.
Yeah. But the conspiracy is like, shut the fuck up. If everyone just like shut the fuck up and obeyed orders and stayed home, this thing would, if we had Chinese levels of civil obedience in our society, we could have just we would probably be in the clear by now because everyone would have contact tracing on their phone. Everyone would be opted into it. Everyone would be, to give you a glimpse. Did I talk about this last episode?
I think we talked about it either last episode or the episode before, but cover it just in case there's some free time listeners, because what they did in China, since it's not a democracy and it's like a dictatorship,
and you listen to the government or it's under the penalty of death. Like, you fucking listen when the government says to do something. But what they have is they have contact tracing on their phone. So every time my brother leaves his apartment and goes to a store, they scan a barcode on his phone to check him in, and they scan a barcode on his phone to check him out, and he gets scanned in at the next location, and he gets scanned in when he goes back home. And then if someone at any location he was at while he was there tests positive for coronavirus, that automatically updates their records, and it notifies everyone who was in the location with them that they need to get tested, and it notifies the government so that they can go pick up people who aren't complying and throw them in prison. If you walk into a fucking building, or even if you're going back home, you get your temperature checked with an infrared thermometer, and if you have a fever or your temperature is running high, they will not let you go back to your home. They will send a government vehicle to come pick you up and take you off to quarantine you somewhere else.
Which I just want to point out, it's probably not the 4 seasons or even the 2 seasons. It's probably pretty terrible.
Maybe a 1 season. But and then you have all these people claiming that how China moved past this virus so quickly is obviously proof that it's a hoax. And these people are also bitching and being like, well, I would never allow a contact tracing app on my phone because that's an invasion of my fucking privacy. And it is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Because, like, if we want to beat this virus and come out of it and fix our economy, like China is going to be able to come out on top, we need to do that shit. If we're not going to do that shit, China's going to win. And that's not a conspiracy. That's because we're all too fucking stupid and jacked up on the smell of freedom to do what we need to do to get past this thing.
Yeah, and the problem is...
Sorry, Tennille asked if we did the government COVID survey. I did, and I did say that I would be willing to get blood tested for antibodies and to... I volunteered for contact tracing as well. So we'll see.
Where is the survey? Where can people find the survey, Derek?
I saw it all on Facebook. Hold on. Make your point, and I will try and track that down.
I was going to say one of the other reasons that China fared better than the States is last time I checked, I think it was a couple weeks ago, there was 8 different strains of the coronavirus. And what they're saying is that, like we mentioned it last week, that the U.S. didn't actually get infected by China. They got infected by Italy. So what happened was BC, one of the reasons why BC is doing better than Ontario is they think that we got the early China strain all on the West Coast. So like BC, California, and Seattle, even though Seattle was bad at first, it kind of lessened, whereas Italy, Spain, the UK, they all got like super bad because they had a virus that mutated. It went from China to Italy and mutated and got way stronger and more deadly. And then that virus went to New York and Eastern USA. And that's why currently the East Coast is doing so much worse than the West Coast.
Yeah.
So, and that would be why all the Scandinavian countries are doing so bad. And then like, the whole problem with this thing is we keep saying we don't know enough about it to scientifically rule any causes for anything. Like there are, I guess people are kind of theorizing that the different genetics, like what race you are, if you want to be racist about it. So like Scandinavian people have a different genetic makeup of Chinese people. So maybe the virus hit them differently. Like, we don't even know this stuff. So what could have happened was it got inside Italians and with their different genetic makeup mutated it, or it could even just be the like Mediterranean climate as opposed to the Asian climate. So that's one of the other things that would affect the different numbers too.
Yeah, and the other thing is that people say that they're like fudging numbers for causes of death, but it's like the way COVID-19 affects your body is at first they thought it was just like it was a lung issue, that this was like a lung disease and people were dying of pneumonia, and now they're finding out that it can affect your heart, it can affect your brain, it can affect your extremities, it basically just shuts down your organs. So if they have someone that dies of one of these organ failures that wasn't like presenting with a fucking long-term or a chronic illness before this, then it's probably pretty safe to attribute it to COVID-19.
Sorry, I'm just replying to a comment.
Are you talking? Don't reply to the comments. Reply to my comments. We're podcasting here. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Oh,
okay,
also,
fine. I'll just say it instead of writing it. They have confirmed that there are 8 different strains. They haven't confirmed scientifically the lethality of the different strains, but they are theorizing that some are more lethal than others, and they've even said that the strain that's in India right now might even be worse than the one that was in Italy.
More lethal or more communicable, virulent?
Yeah, just
virulent?
Worse in general?
Yeah. Anyway, the organ failure, and at first they thought that this virus didn't affect children. And now they're finding out that it actually, like, what is the syndrome? It kind of mimics the
toes. The COVID toes is what they're calling it, by slang. I don't know what the actual scientific term is, but it looks like frostbite on the toes of children, and they're saying that's one way you could tell if a child has it but is asymptomatic.
Well, and the child also, children are getting it, and it's mimicking like an inflammatory syndrome that children get. And I think at first they were misdiagnosing it as a syndrome until they were suddenly like, why is this incredibly rare syndrome popping up in so many children in like high coronavirus outbreak areas?
Yeah.
Like they had a ton of cases in New York, and they're starting to think that this is how, basically, it's still early on. Nobody has any fucking idea what this virus does or how to get rid of it, or even like the long-term health effects of it. Like if someone had it and had a particularly severe bout of it and then got over it, whether they're going to be prone to organ failure down the road.
They're like saying like it could like it would like I've heard that it gives you asthma type, like it's like affects your lungs pretty much for the rest of your life. Like it would be, like you now have asthma because you had COVID.
Do we talk about how everyone should take up smoking? Because there was a third study released.
Actually, I remember like a month or two ago when Marlboro started researching to find a cure for this disease. And I was like, well, that's weird that a cigarette company would start researching a disease that's passed like through the lungs. And then now France is like, oh yeah, if you have nicotine in your body, then I think it's something to do where it stops the virus from attaching to your lungs in the same way. Because the way the virus works is it goes into your lungs, and then like these little balls with like suction cups on the side just like stick to your lungs and then give you like pneumonia and shit.
Did you watch one animated video about how COVID takes over your
saw
body?
A diagram, all right, and then I just daydreamed the rest. But so what France is saying that theoretically, if you have nicotine in your system, it'll stop the virus from basically setting in. But this is France, and they don't have scientific. This is kind of like the whole chloroquine thing, where they're like, "This will cure it," and then they're like, too many people died. We can't say it'll cure it anymore. Or hydrochloroquine.
They have but a third independent study came out. So there was 3 studies conducted simultaneously: one in France, one in China, one in where was the other one? The UK, maybe. And they all basically confirmed the same thing. And it wasn't that, like, they couldn't confirm exactly how, but they looked at the percentage of the population that smokes cigarettes and the percentage of population that smoked cigarettes in each of the age demographics, and then broke down COVID cases. Like if you have 50% of a population that smokes cigarettes, then you would assume that 50% of the population is going to present with COVID symptoms at a hospital. Potentially more, because smoking damages the lungs.
Yeah, it's crazy because they were theorizing that's one of the reasons why Italy got hit so hard, was because on average they have a higher number of smokers in the population. They also thought that was one of the reasons why dudes were getting it worse, was because we're idiots and we smoke more than women.
Yeah, but when they actually looked at the numbers of people who both presented with severe symptoms and died at hospitals, I think they found that like less than 4% of them were smokers across the board, which is crazy low. And again, they have no idea why. They think it might be because nicotine like blunts the immune system. So when your body turns its immune system against itself, which is how a lot of these people are dying, because it's basically like your immune system floods your own lungs or attacks your other organs. And that's what kills you. But if you're a smoker, your immune system is fucking useless. So when it turns against your body, it doesn't do any damage. But they're saying that there might be a link between that.
So should I break my 14-year smoking hiatus and just start smoking again?
I think it's time, bud. I think it's time.
I don't think I'd want to smoke because I was pretty much super asthmatic when I smoked. So maybe if you're desperate and you're like freaking out and you want to try the nicotine thing, I would say go with either the patch or like a lozenge.
There's gum. Gum is good.
go with a like non-lung cancer causing delivery method.
Yeah, I want to say
So
I do
don't
not
vape or
recommend
smoke.
that anyone pick up smoking to ward off the coronavirus, because dying of coronavirus is much faster than dying of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dale.
So,
What else we got?
do you want to talk about the Leipsic thing, the hockey player?
Oh yeah, let's talk about some
I think everybody's
non-coronavirus
ready
news.
for some non-coronavirus speak. Oh, and also if you don't like hockey, it's not really that much to do with hockey. Like it did involve hockey players, but we could kind of hit the angle that like a cautionary tale because this could happen to all of us. So what happened was Brendan Leipsic, who was a Canuck, what?
It could happen to all of us.
Yeah, because what happened was Leipsic and a couple of his friends would like see a different hockey player, like they saw Connor McDavid post pictures on Instagram. Then he would screen grab that picture, and then he would send it to his friend and make a shitty comment about it. And then his friend would laugh, and then they would make bad taste jokes at like objectifying women and stuff and talking about doing coke and stuff. And this was all in a private chat. And then his friend's phone got hacked and these things got leaked. And then, so basically what he had in a private chat was made public, which happens to everybody's phone who got leaked. And he's no longer playing for the Ottawa Senators.
It was the Washington Capitals. Okay,
He's
there's
no
so
longer
much wrong
playing
with
for
that.
the Washington Capitals.
There's so much wrong with that story. I mean, the comments he made were like shitty.
They were shitty, but they weren't like lose your career shitty. Like I was expecting.
Yeah, they were
like,
lose your career shitty.
There was no racism in there. Oh, okay. I got to say, there was this one comment where a friend said, I went home with this girl. And then he wrote back, he said, might as well. She has a nice condo, which is hilarious, objectively. Like saying that you went home with a girl from the bar because she had a nice condo, so you might as well. I mean, I'm not going to pass value judgments on hookup culture and bars and stuff. I just think that's a funny take on it because if she has a nice condo, why not go sleep there?
I mean, the guy made some really shitty comments. He was calling girls fat pigs. He was like,
oh yeah, I'm not saying it's without.
Who was it? It was like a hockey player's wife who was pregnant. He said, like, look how fat this broad is.
It was Tanner Pearson. He said, LOL, look how fat Tanner Pearson's wife is. That was the exact quote, which is super shitty, but I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm in a bunch of private chats and dirty, raunchy shit gets said. And if it got put out to light, I would probably lose my podcast career and lose all this lucrative money I'm making.
There's dirty, raunchy shit, and then there's just being like a shitty human being towards women specifically.
Yeah, I think.
Which I would draw the line. It's like, okay, like maybe like being like, oh, like check out this hot girl, or like we have a fantasy hockey chat, which is a group of 10 dudes.
Oh yeah, we don't make fun of each other.
Well, and when this Leipsic stuff broke, I was like, whoa, I wonder what kind of problematic shit we've said. And I went and I looked through it, and it turns out we're not piece of shit human beings. So
yeah, we just
didn't do any of that.
All our fantasy chat is we make fun of each other for being terrible at
which
fantasy hockey.
That's what the bros are supposed to do. Like, that's it. So all this other shit, like, yeah, I think it's fucking toxic. And I think if you are a professional sports player, you are getting paid. If you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a fucking game, you have an obligation to be a stand-up member of society, because that's what actually is earning you your millions of dollars. Yeah. Being a fucking role model to kids, fucking making your media appearances, like showing the world that you are not an absolute piece of shit. And I think Brendan Leipsic 100% deserved to get fired because he totally invalidated that part of his career.
And the thing was, he's not a good enough player that he can come through this. Like, he got put on unconditional waivers, which, if you're not familiar with hockey terms, what happens is if a team doesn't want you, they put you on waivers, which is they send you down to the farm team, and then if any other team in the league sees that player's on waivers, they could just come in and grab him without trading anything for him, because they're like, well, if you don't want him, I'm going to take him. And nobody wanted him, so obviously he's just a scrub player. Like, there's guys like Patrick Kane who is also a piece of shit, but he's a good enough player that the team didn't get rid of him.
Raped women.
Allegedly. I'm not
allegedly.
saying whether he did or didn't. It's very probable that he did, but a court of law said he didn't, which there's all sorts of things wrong with that.
He still has a career.
And the thing that this made me think of is because a lot of people, like, the weird thing about hockey is, of the four major sports, basketball, football, baseball, and hockey players always seem to be like they have the most pressure on them to be nice guys and be upstanding citizens. And a lot of people are like, well, why is hockey held to a standard? And I think it's because it's the only of those sports that has allowed fighting. Like, in hockey, if a guy beefs with you on the ice, they get in a fight and they punch each other in the face. It's the only of the major four sports where you can actually fight and then just get like a 5-minute penalty. Whereas,
who the fuck says hockey players are held to a higher standard of behavior than any other sport?
Okay, I say that because it feels like they are.
I've literally never heard that. I know it does not. You don't pay attention to the other three sports. So,
well, like, imagine if this chat leaked about a football player, like an NFL player. Would the same thing happen?
No, they would, but this is the first time this has ever happened. There's been lots of toxic hockey shit that has come out.
Well, remember when
there was what's his face that
the guy who said something to Lucic about his wife, because there was a guy who's Lucic's wife.
I don't know.
Or not Lucic, Phaneuf, his wife. Remember?
Sean Avery said the sloppy seconds thing.
Yeah, Sean Avery said to Phaneuf, enjoy my sloppy seconds, because he married Alicia Cuthbert, who he married. And that was like the only thing kind of close to like the whole objectifying women angle of that.
No, but there was that Russian guy who got what was it?
Oh, domestic abuse, and he got kicked out of the league.
Domestic abuse and got kicked out of the league for it. And that's something that happens.
He got suspended for 6 years or something, and then
just went back to the KHL.
Well, they said you're suspended indefinitely, and after 6 years, he's like, I guess this is permanent.
Yeah, but so there is like, no, I would not say that hockey players are held to a higher standard at all. I think if this happened in any league, with the possible exception of the NFL, which unless there's a literal video. Which is kind of the difference here, too. It's like there were actually receipts of all the horrific, awful, toxic shit he was saying. Whereas in the NFL, unless there's like a video of you literally assaulting a woman, you're not going to lose your job.
Yeah, I guess because you can look at I guess the good comparable is Michael Vick and the aforementioned Patrick Kane. Like, they both had trouble, went through the court system. Oh, and Kobe Bryant. Obviously. So they all went to court. Michael Vick and Kobe Bryant were both convicted, served their time, and came back and did a big part. Patrick Kane. Wasn't he convicted?
No. Kobe Bryant settled out
of court. Did he miss a season or half a season?
I'm not actually sure.
Anyways, if you settle out of court, it's a pretty large indicator that you're guilty. So anyways, there's Kobe Bryant, Patrick Kane are the two directly comparables because it's like the same charge, like they're allegedly raped these women, and they still what?
Michael Vick was dog fighting.
No, I said Kobe Bryant and Patrick Kane.
Okay.
I kind of abandoned Vick because Kobe Bryant and Patrick Kane are directly comparable. Okay,
that's a whole different.
So maybe when I said it seems like hockey players are held to a higher standard, it's
wrong. Factually incorrect.
But wait,
inaccurate? Wrong.
Do other leagues, whatever, do other leagues have the equivalent of a Lady Byng trophy?
Yeah, they all have like sportsmanship awards.
Oh. All right, just ignore me.
You got to start paying attention to others. See, this totally invalidates your opinion on all sports.
I don't know.
They're better than you think.
I am barely paying full attention to the NHL. And I don't think there's another sport in. Well, not right now.
There's not a lot there to pay attention to.
But like, what am I going to do? Pay attention to basketball, football? Football, there's like 50 players on every team, and they're only in the league for like 4 years, and that's way too hard to keep track of. And baseball, there's like they play 180 games, and that's just too much attention. Like every day, I think I'll just stick to NHL, and then I will say uneducated things that I'm not necessarily right in, and then you could correct me, so you could be smart guy who knows stuff, and I'll be funny guy who shoots his mouth off. I mean,
Yeah, seems like a pretty good dynamic.
It's worked for 120 episodes, has it not?
Gotten us this far. In conclusion, Brendan Leipsic is a piece of shit and 100% deserved to lose his job. And if you say shit like that about your coworkers or women in general, you also deserve to lose your job.
Although I was kind of hoping that he wouldn't get canceled just to see what these other players, because he was taking pot shots at all these players. Like, they probably like took it easy on him. They're like, if he plays a game against any of these teams,
well,
he's going to get fucking run over.
He would have even, I think the team might have overlooked the shit he said about women because it's hockey. But there's no women there. Mm-hmm. But he was even like ripping on his own line, like the line mates he played with in Washington. He had like threads calling them fucking losers and shit. So,
he was like most terrible squad or whatever. Because they're like, one of them posted a picture squatting Cabo, and then he had posted like worst squad ever, which I don't know. That's young people talk. Squatted this and that.
Squad.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was worried because I'm like you, I was like, did I say anything terrible? But I don't think I would ever call women fat in a chat anyway, because like, unless I was bragging about how good of a person I am for marrying a fat girl, like that one guy did, who we talked about.
Oh, fat wife guy.
Yeah.
I like how you were like, I would never call a woman fat. And I was like, oh, that's really nice, Dale. And then you were like, in a chat. I would call them that to their faces.
No. The only thing I would say is, should we be worried about this person's health? Because I'm a fat guy. I've never denied that. And I am very worried now that I'm 40 and I'm like on paper obese. I am very worried about all the health problems that come along with that. So if I see someone who's large and I'm like, I know them, like they're a friend or a family, I'm like, should I say something about the possible health effects that this could be causing? Or
you should not.
Do I just assume that they know what they're doing?
They just assume that they probably are aware that, I mean, a general rule of thumb for me is don't comment on people's weight or appearance or health in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's worked for me.
It's probably good. Yeah, like yeah. And the other way either, like what we learned from Adele losing all this weight is don't say how good they look after they lost weight, because it's indirectly saying how terrible you thought they looked with the weight.
Well, it was funny. I saw this fucking it was like one of those like headlines, and it was like, I think it was Clickhole or something, and it was like,
I got a Clickhole for you.
Nice. It was like, this woman is an inspiration. It's just like a fake headline. It's like inspiring. This woman lost 200 pounds and looks beautiful, even though she was already beautiful before. But it's just like this entire like confusing state of policing women's bodies caught up in one perfect headline. Because it's like, which is it? Like, is it inspiring that they just like love the body they're in? Or is it inspiring when they lose the weight? Or is it inspiring? So I'm just like, no to fucking all of that and do whatever the fuck you want with your body. And I'm going to assume that because it's your body, you have just an understanding of how it functions.
Yeah, like I get it. Like sometimes it's hard to lose weight. There's different people it's harder or easier for them to lose weight. And one of the things about being happy is you should teach yourself to be happy where you are. Like they say, happiness isn't the end of a journey, it's where you are. So basically the way to find happiness is to just accept yourself and allow yourself to be happy. But at the same time, if you want to be happier longer, like you should just try to be healthier. And like I get, like, you want to drink, you want to smoke, and you want to like maybe not treat your body as the perfect temple, because stuff that's fun also makes you happy. But it's like this like balance that you have to reach. But if you are super overweight life's just going to get harder the older you get, because the more you're going to get more of these chronic diseases, like stuff with your heart, stuff with your joints, like diabetes and stuff like that. But if you're okay with that, then that's fine.
100%
like,
your choice. It was like you and I were both smokers.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like when people were like, hey, that's bad for you, you should quit. You were like, what? Holy shit, it's bad for me? Like, you knew the health problems that it caused. Like, you were fully aware, and you would just be like, shut the fuck up, you dumb asshole. Like, I know. Which is what I would say to people if I was overweight and they were like, I'm very concerned about your weight. Did you know you're a risk for diabetes? I would like, fuck off and stop talking to me. Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Go the fuck away.
But at the same time, when I was a smoker, someone was like, hey, I heard about this book that helps you quit smoking, like the Alan Carr, The Only Way to Quit Smoking. And the first 3 times someone told me that, I told them to fuck off. And then by the 4th time someone said, I was like, maybe I should check out this book.
And it worked.
Like, if someone you know and love is in danger of being overweight, don't say, hey, you're overweight, or hey, you're at a health risk. Just be like, hey, you want to come work out with me?
No, don't do that either.
Yeah, don't suggest ways to lose weight. Just tell them.
Don't do anything. Tell them that you love them and appreciate the person they are, no matter how big or small they are. And that you trust their ability to make their own decisions, and that if they ever need help, they can rely on you.
Yeah, that's where you go. You don't say, hey, you should get help for that. You should just say, hey, I know some things. They're probably wrong, but if you want to know them, come ask me, and I'll tell you them.
All right. I literally cannot sit here anymore because my back is fucking killing me. So we're going to wrap this up.
Hey, is that because you have weight problems and is your COVID-19 putting pressure on your lower back so that you have pain? Hey, Derek.
The flip side of this, it was a weight problem because I squatted too much back when gyms were still a thing.
Ladies, I squatted too much. Hey, I literally got so much muscles in my legs that it hurt my back.
What's the thing?
That's how ripped I got from sitting and standing.
I didn't have the muscles. I fucked up my back, and I've been dealing with like shooting nerve pain down my leg for 3 months now because no fucking RMTs or chiros or doctor's offices are open.
Hey, Derek, all you gotta do is ask.
I may, if it gets to that point,
hey,
you're in my expanded circle now. So rub my ass for me.
Did we mention that? So one of the things Horgan said was you could expand the people you're allowed in your circle without social distancing up to 6. And me and Derek were like, well, we record this fabulous podcast. We have so many of these fans. Eventually we want to massage each other. So let's make each other in our circle.
I think I actually prefer doing it distance. So, sorry.
It's awkward to bring up now.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to episode 120 of Outrage Factory. I have been your co-host, Derek Bolin. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Herder.
I've been your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at SuperDalebot. I am also the guy who tweets for the podcast account. So if you see follow that on the Twitter machine at
Outrage Fact Pod.
Yeah, Outrage Fact Pod. Mention it, and I'll get back to you. Sorry, I don't check it as often as I obsessively compulse my personal Twitter, but I will get back to you when I see it. Also, if anybody wants one of these fine Outrage Factory mugs, I know Sam Loudon has one. You could talk to him. When you get them, the writing won't be backwards. That's just the webcam thing. But message me on Twitter or Facebook, and I can hook you up. Basically what I do is I just go through Vistaprint, order it, and then get it sent to your place, and then you pay for how much it costs. I mean, if you want to be part of the cool club.
None of that was relevant. If you want a mug, let Dale know. If you're on Facebook, like us at facebook.com/OutrageFactPod. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, and please rate, review, and subscribe to us. Your reviews help to tell us what you think of the show and how we can make it better, and also help other people discover dope new podcasts like this one. Dale, you look like you had something to say.
I thought you were done. I was just going to say, remember to write those poems for us.
Yep. Send them to theoutragefactory@gmail.com, and we will read them on next week's episode. And until next week,
Stay angry.